The fire crackled in the stone hearth. Outside, December snow blanketed the Montana Valley in white silence. Cole Anderson, 70 years old with hands gnarled as ancient oak, settled into his leather chair and studied the boy across from him. Thomas Jr., 12 years old and eager, sat forward on the edge of the sofa. His eyes reflected firelight. "Grandpa Cole," the boy said, "tell me about the winter. The winter you always mention but never explain." Cole picked up his pipe, did not light it, just held it, feeling the smooth wood worn by 40 years of grip. He looked at the photographs on the mantel. Rebecca, dead since 1883. Emma, gone 10 years now in 1915. Both women who had shaped his life. Both buried in the cemetery on the hill where pine trees stood sentinel. "You need to know this story, Thomas," Cole said. His voice carried the roughness of age and tobacco. "Because one day this ranch will be yours, and you need to understand what it cost. Not in dollars, in blood, in tears, in choices that break a man before they remake him." Thomas Jr. straightened. He was old enough to hear truth now, old enough to understand that life demanded payment for its gifts. "It was December 1885, Cole began. "I was 36 years old. Your great-grandmother Rebecca had been dead 2 years. I had 5 children. No money, a ranch falling apart, and a bottle of whiskey as my only friend." The boy's eyes widened. "I know what you're thinking," Cole continued. "How did Grandpa, who built this empire, who raised 7 children, who owned 3,000 acres, how did that man start as a drunk?" The answer is simple, Thomas. He almost didn't. He almost lost everything. And the only reason you're sitting here tonight, in this house, on this land, is because 5 brave children did something desperate. And because a woman with $3 and 2 missing fingers walked into our lives and refused to leave. Cole leaned back. The chair creaked. Outside, wind howled through the valley. "Listen close, son. This is the story of the winter that saved us all." The firelight dimmed, the old man's eyes went distant, and the past rose up like smoke. December 1885, Montana Territory. Cole Anderson woke at 4:30 in the morning because his body knew no other time. The bed beside him lay empty. 2 years empty. But sometimes in that space between sleep and waking, he forgot. His hand would reach across the quilt, searching for warmth that was no longer there, for a body that lay 6 feet under frozen earth, for Rebecca, who had bled out on this very mattress, giving birth to their 5th child. The pain hit fresh every morning, like a knife between the ribs, quick, sharp, relentless. He sat up. The room was cold enough to see his breath. The stove had died in the night. Again, he should have banked it better, should have done a lot of things. But whiskey made a man forget his duties, made him forget everything except the blessed numbness it provided. Cole dressed in the dark, denim pants worn thin at the knees, a flannel shirt with buttons missing, wool socks with holes at the heel, boots that needed resoling. Everything about him was worn down, used up, barely functional, just like the man wearing them. The mirror on the dresser caught his reflection. 36 years old, looked 60, hair going gray, face gaunt, eyes red from drinking and hollow from grief. He needed a shave, had needed one for a week. But what was the point? There was no one to look good for. No one to care whether he lived or died except 5 children downstairs who deserved better than the shell of a father he had become. Cole descended the stairs. Each step creaked. The whole house creaked. Pine Ridge Ranch, once the pride of the territory, now groaned like an old man's bones. Repairs undone. Paint peeling, windows cracked. The place was dying just like everything else he touched. In the kitchen, he found Lily already awake. 12 years old, should have been playing with dolls. Instead, she stood at the stove frying bacon in a cast-iron skillet too heavy for her thin arms. Her blonde hair hung in a braid down her back. She wore an apron 3 sizes too large, Rebecca's apron. The sight of it twisted Cole's gut. "Morning, Pa," Lily said without turning around. Her voice carried the flat quality of exhaustion, a child who had become a woman too soon. Cole grunted, poured himself coffee from the pot she had already brewed. Black, bitter. He added whiskey from the bottle under the sink. Lily's shoulders stiffened, but she said nothing. They had stopped fighting about the drinking 6 months ago. What was the point? He would drink whether she protested or not. He sat at the kitchen table. 6 chairs surrounded it, one for him, 5 for the children, and one more, a sixth chair, new, the wood still light-colored, not yet darkened by use and time. "Where did that come from?" Cole asked, nodding at the chair. Lily's hands paused over the bacon. "Daniel made it, Pa. We thought we might need an extra." "For who?" "For guests." Cole almost laughed. Guests. They had not had visitors in 2 years. Not since Rebecca's funeral, when half the territory had shown up to pay respects to a woman everyone loved. Since then, nothing. Just the 6 of them, alone, dying slowly in this house where ghosts walk the halls. "We don't get guests," Cole said. Lily said nothing, just turned the bacon, cracked 4 eggs into the pan. Her movements were efficient, practiced. She had been cooking for the family since Rebecca died. 12 years old, and she ran this household like a general commanding troops. Cole watched her. Pride and shame warred in his chest. Pride that his daughter was strong. Shame that she had to be. The other children filtered downstairs. Sam, 10 years old, silent and watchful. He had his mother's dark hair and serious eyes. Tommy, 8, unable to sit still, bouncing with energy even this early. Sophie, 6, clutching a rag doll she called Rosie, named after the grandmother she would never meet. And Ollie, 2.5, totting on unsteady legs, reaching for Cole with chubby arms. "Papa! Papa up!" Cole lifted the boy onto his lap. Ollie smelled like sleep and milk. He was too young to remember Rebecca, too young to know what he had lost. Maybe that was mercy. They ate breakfast in near silence. Cole had taught them not to chatter. Mornings were for work, not talk. There were chores to do, animals to feed, a ranch to run, even if it was running into the ground. After breakfast, Cole and Sam walked to the barn. The December air bit at exposed skin. Snow crunched under their boots. The sky hung low and gray, promising more snow by evening. In the barn, Cole checked the cattle. 50 head, all that remained of a herd that once numbered 300. He had sold most to pay debts, to keep food on the table, to buy whiskey. The remaining animals were thin. Winter was hard on cattle, hard on everyone. One of the cows had a cut on her foreleg. Not deep, but it needed attention. Cole fetched the medical kit, cleaned the wound with turpentine. The cow bellowed and tried to kick. Sam held her steady. Strong for a 10-year-old. He had his father's build, would be a big man one day if he survived to adulthood. "Good work," Cole said when they finished. Sam nodded, did not smile. The boy had not smiled in months. Cole could not remember the last time he had heard Sam laugh. They moved to the fence line. A section had collapsed in last week's storm. 4 posts down, 12 feet of rail lying in the snow. Cole hauled new lumber from the shed, pine cut last spring. He showed Sam how to set the posts, dig through frozen ground, use rocks to stabilize the base, drive nails at an angle for maximum grip. "Hold the rail steady," Cole instructed. "I'm going to nail it." Sam gripped the wood. Cole swung the hammer, connected solid. The nail drove home. He drove 3 more, each strike precise. This was muscle memory. Work he could do drunk or sober. Work that required no thought, just action. "You try," Cole said, handing Sam the hammer. The boy took it, positioned a nail, swung, missed. The nail bent. "That's a 2-cent nail," Cole said. His voice came out harsher than intended. "We don't have money to waste." Sam's jaw tightened. He pulled the bent nail out, started again. This time he connected. The nail went in crooked, but held. Cole looked at it. Should have told the boy to do it over, should have demanded perfection. But something in Sam's face stopped him. The determination, the effort, the desperate need to please a father who rarely offered praise. "That'll hold," Cole said quietly. "Crooked but strong. Sometimes that's enough." Sam looked up. Their eyes met. For a moment, understanding passed between them. They were both crooked, both bent, but still standing, still holding. They worked until noon. By then, Cole's shoulder ached. His hands were numb. His head pounded from last night's whiskey. But the fence was up. The cattle were tended. The work was done. They walked back to the house. Lily had lunch ready, soup made from yesterday's bones, bread baked this morning. It was not much, but it was hot and filling. And as they ate, Cole noticed something, the way the children kept glancing at each other. Secret looks, nervous energy. Tommy could barely sit still. Sophie kept dropping her spoon. Even Lily, usually so controlled, had spots of color high on her cheeks. "What's going on?" Cole asked. Silence. I asked a question. More silence. Cole's patience, never abundant these days, snapped. "If one of you doesn't speak up right now, there will be consequences." "Pa," Lily said quickly, there's something we need to tell you, but not yet, soon, just not yet." Cole stared at her. What in hell's name were these children up to? Before he could press further, the sound of wheels on frozen ground reached them. A stagecoach. Coming up the road to the ranch, Cole stood, walked to the window. Sure enough, a coach was approaching. The driver sat hunched against the cold, and inside, a passenger, a woman's shape visible through the frosted glass. "Who is that?" Cole said. Behind him, 5 children held their breath. The stagecoach stopped. The driver climbed down, opened the door. A woman stepped out. She was thin, wore a worn blue coat that had seen better years, a brown skirt mended in several places. Her hair, dark brown, was pinned up under a simple hat. She carried a single carpet bag. But it was her left hand that caught Cole's attention. 2 fingers missing, cut off at the second knuckle. An old injury, long healed. The woman looked at the house, then at the 5 children who had suddenly appeared on the porch. Her face went pale. Her grip tightened on the bag, and Cole saw something in her eyes. Fear, determination. The look of someone who had bet everything on a single hand and was about to discover if she had won or lost. The children moved as one. Lily in front, Sam and Tommy flanking her, Sophie and Ollie behind. They formed a wall between the house and their father, a human shield. Lily stepped forward, her voice shook but her chin stayed up. "Miss Emma Harper?" The woman nodded. "Yes, where is Mr. Anderson?" Cole pushed past his children, stood at the edge of the porch, looked down at this stranger who knew his name. "I'm Anderson," he said. "Who the hell are you?" The woman met his gaze. Something flickered in her gray eyes, confusion, recognition, then something close to horror. "I'm Emma Harper," she said slowly. "From New York. Mr. Anderson, I came to marry you." The world tilted. Cole grabbed the porch rail. "You came to what?" "To marry you. You wrote to me. 47 letters over 6 months. You told me about your ranch, your children. You said you needed a wife. You asked me to come." Cole's mind went blank, then red. He turned to his children. They stood frozen, guilty, terrified. "Lily," he said. His voice came out deadly quiet. "Who is this woman?" Lily's courage crumbled. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Pa, we can explain." "Explain what?" "We wrote the letters." The words came out in a rush. "All of them. We used your name, copied your signature from the store ledger. We sent them to the mail order bride agency. We invited her to come. We did it, Pa, all of us." Cole felt the world dropping away beneath his feet. His children, his own children, had forged his name, had written to a stranger, had lured this woman across 2,000 miles based on lies. He looked at Emma Harper, at her worn clothes, her scarred hand, her carpet bag that probably contained everything she owned. At the stage driver already turning the coach around, her only escape disappearing down the road. "Ma'am," Cole said. His throat felt tight. "I am so sorry. I had no idea about any of this. I never wrote those letters. I swear to God, I never asked you to come." Emma's face went white, then gray. She swayed slightly. "You didn't write them," she repeated. Not a question, a statement of fact, the sound of a dream dying. "No, ma'am. None of them. None." She looked at the 5 children, at their desperate faces, at the house behind them with its peeling paint and sagging porch, at the ranch spread out under gray sky, at everything they had promised her in those 47 letters. Her lips moved. Cole thought she might scream, might cry, might curse them all. Instead, she said very quietly, "I see." Then her knees buckled. Cole moved fast, caught her before she hit the ground. She was lighter than he expected. All bone and no meat. When was the last time this woman had eaten a proper meal? He carried her into the house. The children scattered. Cole laid Emma on the sofa. Lily appeared with water and a cloth. Emma's skin was cold, her pulse rapid and weak. Cole had seen enough ranch hands collapse to know the signs. Exhaustion, hunger, exposure. "When did you last eat?" he asked. Emma's eyes fluttered open. "Yesterday morning? Maybe." "For God's sake," Cole turned to Lily. "Get soup, bread, whatever we have, now." Lily ran. The other children hovered nearby. Sam looked stricken. Tommy was crying. Sophie clutched her doll like it was a lifeline. Only Ollie seemed unaffected. He toddled over to Emma and reached for her with pudgy hands. "Mama," he said. "Mama?" The word hit Cole like a fist. Mama. The boy was too young to remember Rebecca, too young to understand that their mother was gone. To him, any woman was potentially Mama. Any woman could fill that vast, aching void. Emma's eyes filled with tears. She looked at Ollie, at this tiny boy who did not know her but reached for her anyway. And something in her face shifted, softened. "Hello, sweetheart," she whispered. Lily returned with soup. Cole helped Emma sit up, watched as she ate, slowly at first, then faster. The soup disappeared. The bread followed. Color returned to her cheeks, life to her eyes. When she finished, she looked around the room, at the 5 children watching her with desperate hope, at Cole standing apart, arms crossed, at the house that was supposed to be her new home. "I should leave," Emma said. "Catch the next stage. Go back to New York." Relief flooded through Cole. Yes, that was best. She would leave. This nightmare would end. They would go back to their quiet dying. But then Lily spoke, her voice barely audible. "Please don't go." Emma looked at her. "Please," Lily said again. Tears streamed down her face. "We're sorry. We're so sorry for lying. But we didn't know what else to do. Pa's been—" She choked, could not finish. "Drowning," Sam said quietly. The boys' dark eyes were steady, old beyond their years. "Our pa has been drowning, and we're drowning with him. We thought maybe if someone came, maybe things could get better." Tommy stepped forward. "We cleaned the whole house, twice. We wanted it nice for you." Sophie held up her doll. "I made paper chains for Christmas." And Ollie, understanding nothing but feeling everything, said again, "Mama." Emma looked at each child in turn, then at Cole. She saw him, really saw him, for the first time. The gray in his hair, the lines around his eyes, the defeat in his shoulders, the bottle-shaped bulge in his coat pocket. A man in pieces, a family in ruins. "I'll stay through Christmas," Emma said. "For the children. They went to a lot of trouble. The least I can do is not ruin their holiday." Cole opened his mouth to argue, to send her away, to protect himself from this stranger who saw too much. But before he could speak, Lily threw her arms around Emma. Then Sophie, then Tommy, even Sam moved close. And Ollie climbed into Emma's lap and laid his head against her chest. 5 children clinging to a woman they did not know, holding on like she was the only thing keeping them from drowning. And Cole realized with sudden, terrible clarity that maybe she was. That night, after the children were asleep, Cole sat in the dark kitchen. The whiskey bottle sat on the table. He stared at it, had not opened it, not yet. Footsteps on the stairs. Emma appeared in the doorway. She wore a simple nightgown borrowed from Lily. Her hair hung loose around her shoulders. She looked young, vulnerable, out of place in this house of ghosts. "Can't sleep?" Cole asked. "No," she sat across from him, saw the bottle. "Are you going to drink that?" "I don't know." They sat in silence. The clock ticked. Outside, wind rattled the windows. "Tell me about her," Emma said. "Your wife." Cole's hand moved toward the bottle, stopped. "Oh, why? Because if I'm staying, even for a few days, I need to understand. I need to know who she was, what you lost." Cole looked at Emma, at this strange woman who had walked into his life on a lie, who had every right to hate them, who instead sat here asking about the ghost that haunted this house. "Rebecca," he said. The name caught in his throat. Her name was Rebecca. She was light. That's the only way to describe her. She made this old ranch feel like home. She sang while cooking. She taught Lily to sew. She could outride any man in the territory. She made me want to be better than I was. How did she die? Childbirth. Ollie, she bled. I held her hand, watched her slip away. Couldn't do a damn thing to stop it. His voice broke. She made me promise, right before she died. She said, take care of them, our babies. And I swore I would, but I haven't. I've been so lost in my own pain that I have abandoned them. Let Lily become the mother. Let Sam become the man of the house. I've failed every promise I made. Emma reached across the table. Her scarred hand covered his. You're still here. That counts for something. Does it? Yes. Her voice was firm. Because being here means you can start again. Can do better. The only real failure is giving up entirely. Cole looked down at her hand, at the stumps where fingers used to be. What happened to your hand? Factory accident. I was 14, worked in a textile mill in New York. Got my hand caught in a loom. They cut away what couldn't be saved. She pulled her hand back. I'm used to people staring. Used to being seen as broken. You're not broken. Neither are you, Mr. Anderson, just bent. He almost smiled. They call me Cole. Cole, she tested the name. And I'm Emma. They sat together in the darkness. Two strangers, two broken people, connected by a lie that might become something true. Then Lily's voice cut through from upstairs. Panicked, frightened. Pa, Pig, come quick! Cole bolted from his chair, took the stairs 3 at a time. Emma followed. They found Lily standing in the hallway. Her face was pale. It's Ollie. He's gone. I went to check on him and his bed is empty. I've looked everywhere. Pa, he's not in the house. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through Cole's chest. Ollie, 2.5 years old, missing in December cold. How long? Cole's voice came out hard, controlled. I don't know, I just checked. Maybe 30 minutes? 30 minutes. In 20-degree weather. A child that small. Everyone up, Cole commanded. Search the house, every room, every closet, every space big enough for a child. The children scattered. Cole, Emma, and Lily tore through the house, under beds, in cupboards, behind furniture. Nothing. Cole's mind raced. Where would Ollie go? The boy was too young to have destination in mind. But children went to familiar places, places that meant something. The creek. Rebecca used to take Ollie to the creek before she got too pregnant to walk that far. She would show him how sunlight sparkled on water, how fish swam in the shallows. The creek, Cole said. North pasture. He might have gone there. He grabbed his coat, his rifle. Not for hunting. For mountain lions. For wolves. For anything that might threaten a small child alone in the dark. Emma caught his arm. I'm coming with you. No, stay with the others. I said I'm coming. Her voice left no room for argument. They ran, through snow, through darkness. The creek was a mile from the house. Cole's lungs burned, his legs pumped. Fear drove him faster than he had moved in 2 years. Please, he prayed, please let him be safe. I can't lose another one. I can't. They reached the creek. Moonlight reflected off ice. And there, standing at the water's edge, was Ollie. He wore only his nightshirt. His small body shook with cold. He stared down at the frozen surface. Fishies, Ollie said. Want see Mama's fishies. Cole's heart nearly stopped. He walked slowly toward his son. Each step measured. The ice was thin in places. One wrong move and Ollie could fall through. Ollie, Cole said softly. Son, don't move. Papa's coming. The boy turned, smiled. Papa, look, fishies! He took a step onto the ice. The cracks sounded like a gunshot. Cole lunged, grabbed Ollie just as the ice gave way. They both went down. Cole's arm plunged into freezing water. But he had Ollie, had him tight, pulled him back onto solid ground. The boy was soaked, shaking violently. His lips were blue. Emma stripped off her coat, wrapped Ollie in it. Cole held his son against his chest. Tried to share body heat. We need to get him warm, Emma said. Now, hypothermia can kill in minutes. They ran back. Emma took the lead. Cole followed, carrying Ollie. The boy's shaking grew worse, then terrifyingly began to slow. Stay awake, Cole commanded. Ollie, you stay awake. You hear me? They burst into the house. Lily had the fire roaring. Emma took Ollie, stripped his wet clothes, wrapped him in blankets. Lily brought warm water. Not hot. Too hot would shock the system. Just warm. Emma dipped cloths and placed them on Ollie's chest, his neck, his wrists. Slowly color returned. The shaking resumed, stronger now. That was good. Shaking meant the body was fighting. An hour later, Ollie slept. Warm, safe, breathing steadily. Cole sat beside the bed. He had not let go of his son's hand, could not let go. When he closed his eyes, he saw the ice cracking, saw Ollie falling into black water, saw himself too slow, too late. Emma sat in the other chair. She had not left either. I almost lost him, Cole said. His voice was barely a whisper. Just like I lost Rebecca, because I wasn't paying attention, because I was too drunk, too lost, too broken to protect my own child. But you didn't lose him, Emma said. You saved him. This time. What about next time? What about the time after that? Emma, I'm drowning, and I'm taking them all down with me. She moved to kneel in front of him, took his face in her hands, made him look at her. Then stop drowning. Choose to swim. Choose them. Choose to be the father they need instead of the ghost Rebecca left behind. I don't know if I can. You can, because you just did. You ran through the dark. You pulled your son from freezing water. You saved him, Cole. That's what fathers do. They save their children. Even when they think they can't, even when they're broken, they save them anyway. Cole looked into Emma's eyes, saw no judgment there, no condemnation, just belief. This woman who owed him nothing believed in him when he could not believe in himself. Thank you, he said, for coming with me, for helping. I told you I'd stay through Christmas. She smiled, small but real. That means I'm here, for better or worse, at least for a few more days. In the doorway, Lily watched. She saw her father and this stranger, saw something passing between them, something fragile and new, something that might be hope. The next morning brought trouble of a different kind. A carriage pulled up to the ranch, black and polished, expensive, pulled by two matched bay horses, the kind of vehicle no working rancher owned. Vincent Blackwood climbed down. 45 years old, wearing a suit that cost more than most men earned in a year. His silver hair was combed back. His blue eyes were cold as a Montana winter. Cole recognized him instantly. Had not seen the man in over 2 years, not since Rebecca's funeral, when Blackwood had stood at the back of the church looking like he was attending the burial of his own happiness. Cole, Blackwood said. His voice was smooth, cultured. I heard you had a visitor. Thought I'd come welcome her to the territory. Cole stepped onto the porch. He did not invite Blackwood closer. Vincent, this is a surprise. Sit. When a mail-order bride arrives at a debtor's ranch, word travels. The word debtor hung in the air like a threat. Behind Cole, Emma appeared in the doorway. She looked at Blackwood. Her expression shifted, became guarded. Miss Harper, I presume, Blackwood said. He removed his hat. Vincent Blackwood, I own the First Bank of Pine Ridge, among other things. Mr. Blackwood, Emma said coolly, I knew Cole's late wife, Rebecca, wonderful woman. Her death was a terrible loss to our community. The way he said Rebecca's name sent ice through Cole's veins. Too familiar, too possessive. What do you want, Vincent? Cole kept his voice level. Just being neighborly. Wanted to check on my investment. Make sure the property is being maintained. After all, when spring comes, that $400 note comes due. I'd hate for there to be complications. $400. The mortgage. Cole had tried not to think about it, had tried to pretend the deadline was not approaching like a hangman's noose. I'll have your money. Will you? Blackwood's smile did not reach his eyes. 50 cattle won't fetch 400 in a good market. And this isn't a good market. Winter prices are half what you'd get in spring. Of course, I could buy them now, save you the trouble. $3 a head. That's $150 for the lot. That's robbery. That's business. Blackwood put his hat back on. You have until spring, Cole. Figure something out. Or, he let the sentence hang, turned back toward his carriage. Then he stopped, looked back at Emma. By the way, Miss Harper, if things don't work out here, I'm always looking for domestic help. A woman of your obvious qualities would be well compensated. The offer was so blatant, so insulting, that Cole took a step forward. His fists clenched. Blackwood smiled, climbed into his carriage, drove away. Emma stood very still. Her face had gone pale. He knows, she said quietly. About the letters, about everything. Small town, word travels. Cole's jaw was tight. I'm sorry you had to hear that. Don't apologize for him. Emma's eyes flashed. Men like that think everything has a price, including people. They went back inside. The 5 children sat at the kitchen table. They had heard. Sam looked murderous. Lily was crying. Even Tommy had gone quiet. Pa, Sam said, what are we going to do? Cole sat down, looked at his children. At Emma, this stranger who had somehow become part of their crisis. At the ranch outside the window. At everything he stood to lose. I don't know, he admitted. Vincent is right. I can't pay $400. Not by spring. Maybe not ever. Lily wiped her eyes. There has to be something. There isn't. I've looked at every option. Selling the cattle gets me maybe 200. Selling equipment and horses might get another 100. I'd still be short. Emma had been quiet. Now she spoke. What about Helena? Cole looked at her. What about it? Helena is 60 miles north. It's a bigger market, better prices. If you could get the cattle there, how much would they fetch? $8 to $10 a head, maybe 500 total. Cole shook his head. But it's winter. The only way to Helena is through Miller's Pass. That's a death trap even in summer. In December, no one attempts it. Someone should. It's suicide. Maybe, Emma leaned forward, or maybe it's the only way to save this ranch, to save this family. Cole stared at her. Was she serious? Miller's Pass in winter. Narrow trails carved into mountainside. Sheer drops, ice, snow. Men had died attempting it in good weather, but she was right. It might be the only way. I can't, Cole said. It's just me and Sam. 2 people can't drive 50 head through those mountains. So get more people. Who? Everyone in this territory owes money to Blackwood. No one will cross him. Then find people who don't owe him, or people who hate him enough not to care. Emma's voice was steady. Cole, I've been listening. I've been watching. This town is full of people who have been hurt by that man. Maybe some of them are ready to fight back. Sam spoke up. Jack Sullivan. His wife died last year. Mr. Blackwood raised his interest rate the week after the funeral. Widow Chen, Lily added. Her husband died in Mr. Blackwood's stockyard. She only got $50. Tommy piped in. The Carter brothers. They're young and crazy. They'd probably do it just for fun. Cole looked at his children, at Emma, at the impossible plan forming. Even if I could get people, he said slowly, even if we could make it through the pass, even if we sold the cattle for full price, that's still a lot of ifs. Yes, Emma agreed, but right now, ifs are all you have. The alternative is waiting for spring and watching Blackwood take everything. Cole stood, walked to the window. Outside, snow was falling again. The ranch looked peaceful under white blanket, deceptive. Everything was dying slowly under that pretty surface. He thought of Rebecca, of the promise he made. Take care of them. Our babies. He had not taken care of them, had barely survived. But maybe he could start now. Could fight instead of surrender. Could be the man his wife believed he was. All right, Cole said. He turned back to face them. We try. Emma, can you go to town tomorrow? Talk to Reverend Hayes. He'll know who might help. I'll go. Sam, you and I will start preparing the herd. Lily will need supplies, food for a week, medicine, everything we can carry. The children nodded. Energy crackled through the room. Hope, fragile as spun glass, began to form. That night, after everyone was asleep, Cole found Emma on the porch. She stood looking at stars. Her breath made clouds in cold air. "Thank you," Cole said. She turned. "For what?" "For not leaving. For caring about strangers. For giving us a chance." Emma smiled. "I didn't come all this way to give up at the first obstacle." They stood together, close but not touching. Between them hung all the words they had not said, all the questions unanswered. "Emma," Cole said, "when this is over, when we've paid the debt and saved the ranch, if things are different then, would you consider—" He could not finish. The words stuck in his throat. Emma looked at him. Her gray eyes were steady. "Ask me then. When you're free, when you're whole, ask me again, and I'll give you an answer." Cole nodded. It was enough. More than enough. Above them, stars wheeled through their ancient dance. Inside the house, 5 children slept. And on a ranch in Montana territory, a family that had been dying began slowly to fight for life. The winter that would test them had only just begun. 3 days passed in preparation. Emma rode to Pine Ridge and returned with promises. Jack Sullivan would come. Eleanor Chen would cook for the drive. The Carter brothers, Ethan and Lucas, signed on for the adventure. Reverend Hayes blessed the journey and promised to watch over the 3 youngest children. On the morning of December 20th, Cole woke at 4. No whiskey. His head was clear for the first time in months. The clarity brought pain but also purpose. Today they would begin the drive that would either save them or destroy them. He dressed in layers: wool underwear, flannel shirt, leather vest, heavy coat lined with sheepskin, boots greased against snow. He checked his rifle. Winchester model, 1873, 44-40 caliber, 15 rounds. He hoped he would not need it. In the kitchen, Lily already had breakfast ready: eggs, bacon, biscuits thick enough to sustain a man through hard labor. The children ate in silence. Even Tommy was subdued. They understood what this journey meant. Sam appeared dressed for riding. 10 years old, but his face held the gravity of manhood. Cole saw Rebecca in the boy's eyes. That same determination. That refusal to surrender. "Ready?" Cole asked. "Yes, Pa." Cole reached into his pocket, pulled out a knife. 6-inch blade. Bone handle worn smooth by his father's grip and his grandfather's before that. 3 generations of Anderson men had carried this knife through war and work and survival. "This belonged to your grandfather," Cole said. He placed it in Sam's palm. "Now it's yours. Don't draw it unless you mean to use it. If you draw it, don't hesitate. Understand?" Sam's fingers closed around the knife. He nodded. No words were necessary. The weight of legacy passed from father to son in that moment. Outside, the others waited. Jack Sullivan sat his mare like he was born in the saddle, 50 years old but still straight-backed, still dangerous. Eleanor Chen's wagon was loaded with supplies. Food enough for a week, medical kit, tools. The Carter brothers, young and eager, checked their saddles and gear. And Emma. She wore men's pants borrowed from Cole, too large but functional, a thick coat, her dark hair braided tight. She looked small beside the men, but her eyes held steel. Cole had assigned her a horse, Bella, gentle mare, 15 years old, past her prime but steady. Emma mounted awkwardly. She could ride but not well. That would have to be enough. The children came out to say goodbye. Sophie clung to Cole's leg. Her face was wet with tears. "Don't go, Papa. Please don't go." Cole knelt, took his daughter's face in his hands. "I have to, little one, to save our home, to give you a future. Mama said that too. Then she didn't come back." The words hit harder than any blow. Cole pulled Sophie close, breathed in the scent of her hair, soap and childhood. "I'm not your mama, Sophie. I'm your pay, and I'm coming back. I swear it." Sophie pulled back, reached into her pocket, pulled out her rag doll. Rosie, the doll Rebecca had made before she died. Sophie had carried it everywhere for 2 years. "Take Rosie," Sophie said, "so Mama can protect you." Cole's throat closed. He could not speak, could only nod. He tucked the small doll into his coat, felt it press against his heart. Lily stood apart, 12 years old and trying to be strong. Cole went to her. You're in charge while I'm gone. I know, Pa. Reverend Hayes will check on you daily. You need anything, you send Tommy to fetch him. I will. Cole hesitated, then pulled his eldest daughter into a hug. Fierce, desperate. I'm proud of you, Lily. Your mama would be proud too. You've been so brave, so strong. But while I'm gone, you can just be 12. Let the Reverend handle the grown-up things. Understand? Lily nodded against his chest. Come home, Pa. I will. Tommy and Ollie got hugs. Quick. Rough. The way men show love without drowning in emotion. Then Cole mounted Thunder. His gelding, 16 hands, black as midnight. The horse sensed the journey ahead, danced sideways. Ready. Cole looked back at the ranch house, at 3 children on the porch, at the life he was fighting to preserve. Then he turned Thunder north, toward Helena, toward Miller's Pass, toward whatever waited in the mountains. The others fell in behind him. Sam on his Pinto, Emma on Bella, Jack and the Carter brothers flanking, Eleanor's wagon bringing up the rear, and 50 head of cattle, confused and reluctant, driven forward by shouts and whistles. They left Pine Ridge Ranch as dawn broke. The sky was gray, heavy with snow that had not yet fallen. Behind them, 3 children watched until the riders disappeared into white landscape. Then they went inside and waited and prayed. Wow. The first day passed without incident. They covered 12 miles, not far, but reasonable given the terrain and the cattle's resistance. Cole chose their camp carefully, a hollow protected from wind, creek nearby for water, grass visible through thin snow for the cattle to graze. Setting camp was practiced choreography. The men worked in silence, efficiency born of experience. Tents went up, 3 of them, one for Emma and Eleanor, one for supplies, one for the men to share. Fire pit dug deep, lined with stones, wood stacked, coffee set to boil. Cole showed Sam how to read the weather. See those clouds, the way they're moving, storm coming, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We need to be ready. Sam studied the sky, learning, absorbing, becoming the man he would need to be. Dinner was beans and bacon, bread gone hard but still edible, coffee strong enough to strip paint. They ate without conversation. Exhaustion made words unnecessary. After dinner, Cole assigned watch. 4-hour shifts. Someone always awake, always alert. Cattle could spook at anything, could scatter in seconds. And out here, scattered cattle meant financial ruin. Jack took first watch. Cole tried to sleep, but his mind would not quiet. He thought of Lily and Sophie and Ollie, wondered if they were safe, if they were scared, if they understood why he had to leave them. He thought of Rebecca, 2 years dead but still present in everything he did. Would she approve of this? Of him risking everything on a desperate gamble? Or would she think him a fool? And he thought of Emma, this stranger who had become something more, something he dared not name. Not yet. Not until they survived this. Around 10, Emma emerged from her tent, walked to where Cole sat by the fire. She wrapped a blanket around her shoulders and sat beside him. Can't sleep? She asked. No, Gwen. They watched the flames, orange light flickering, creating and destroying shadows. Tell me about Rebecca, Emma said. The whole story, not just how she died, who she was. Cole did not want to talk, did not want to open those wounds. But something in Emma's voice compelled honesty. I was a ranch hand, he began. Drifter. No prospects. I came to her father's place looking for work. Rebecca was 17, beautiful, full of life. Every man in 3 counties wanted her. Vincent Blackwood especially. He courted her properly, had her father's blessing, had money, position, everything a woman should want. But she chose you. She did, God knows why. I had nothing to offer except honest work and, he paused. She said I saw her, not as a prize to be won, not as a way to acquire land, just as Rebecca, a woman with her own mind, her own dreams. She was right to choose you. Was she? I got her pregnant 5 times, the last one killed her. If she had married Blackwood, she would still be alive, living in comfort, safe. Emma turned to face him. Safe is not the same as happy, and comfort is not the same as love. You gave her something Blackwood never could. You gave her a partner, not a keeper. Cole looked at Emma, at this woman who spoke truths he desperately needed to hear. How did you get so wise? I'm not wise. I've just learned that the things people think they want are rarely the things that save them. She smiled, small but genuine. I thought I wanted safety, a comfortable home, security. That's what those letters promised. But what I needed was a reason to fight, a family worth fighting for. You barely know us. I know enough. They fell silent. The fire crackled. Above them, stars appeared between breaking clouds, beautiful and cold and indifferent to human struggle. At 11 o'clock, gunfire shattered the night. I am. The first shot came from the south, a rifle crack that sent cattle bolting. Then more shots. 6 riders burst from darkness, faces covered, pistols firing into air and ground, creating chaos, driving terror. Cole moved on instinct, grabbed his Winchester, shouted orders. Sam, get down. Jack, left flank. Ethan, Lucas, protect the cattle. The raiders circled the camp. Professional, coordinated. This was not random violence. This was calculated disruption. Cole aimed at the nearest rider, a man on a bay horse, firing wildly. Cole breathed, steadied, squeezed the trigger. The Winchester kicked. The rider jerked, fell from his saddle, hit the ground and did not move. Another raider charged straight at Cole, close enough to see eyes behind the mask. Cold eyes, empty of mercy. The man raised his pistol. Cole's rifle was empty. He reached for his revolver. Too slow. He saw the pistol aim, saw the finger tighten on trigger, saw his death approaching at the speed of a bullet. Then Emma was there. She stepped between Cole and the raider, unarmed, just her body, a wall of flesh and determination. Shoot me, she said. Her voice was calm, deadly calm. Go ahead, pull that trigger. Let this whole territory know Vincent Blackwood hires murderers. See how long you live after that. The raider hesitated. His horse danced sideways. The man looked at Emma, at Cole, at the witnesses gathering. Jack Sullivan had his rifle trained on him. Ethan Carter was moving to flank. The raider lowered his gun. This ain't over, he growled. Then he wheeled his horse, whistled. The other raiders broke off. 5 men retreated into darkness, leaving one dead comrade behind. Silence fell, broken only by frightened cattle and the ragged breathing of men who had faced death. Cole grabbed Emma's shoulders, spun her to face him. Anger and terror warred in his chest. What the hell were you thinking? I was thinking he would have killed you. Oh, so you decided to die instead? I decided neither of us would die, and I was right. Cole wanted to shake her, wanted to shout, wanted to make her understand that she could not throw herself between him and bullets. But the words would not come, because what he felt was not anger. It was fear, bone deep, soul-crushing, the fear of losing someone he had started to care about. Don't do that again, he said. His voice came out rough, choked. I can't promise that. Emma, she touched his face, her scarred hand gentle against his stubbled cheek. Cole, if I stand aside and watch you die, what have I gained? Safety? I don't want safety if it costs your life. Cole pulled her close, held her against his chest, felt her heart beating. Alive, still alive. If I lost you, he could not finish. You won't. But the words rang hollow, because they both knew. Out here in this wilderness, death was one mistake away, one misstep, one wrong decision. Jack Sullivan approached. Sullivan? Cole, we've got a problem. Cole released Emma, followed Jack to where the dead raider lay. They rolled the body over, pulled down the mask. Cole recognized him. Tom Harper, one of Blackwood's men. Worked at the bank as an enforcer. Blackwood sent them, Jack said. It was not a question. Yes. He'll send more. Probably. We should turn back. Cole looked at his friend, at the honest fear in Jack's eyes. Jack had lost a wife already, had buried her 6 months ago. He understood the cost of loss. If we turn back, we lose everything, Cole said. The ranch, the future, everything those children fought for. If we go forward, we might die. Then we die fighting. That's better than dying slowly in defeat. Jack held his gaze, then nodded. All right, but we post double watch from now on, and we move faster. Get through Miller's Pass before Blackwood can organize another attack. They worked through the night gathering scattered cattle. By dawn, they had recovered 43 head. 7 were lost, gone into darkness, or killed in the chaos. Cole did the math. 43 cattle at $8 each, $344. Not enough to pay Blackwood, not enough to save the ranch. They had come this far to fail, unless Helena prices were higher than expected, unless they could find some other way. Cole looked at his depleted herd, at his exhausted crew, at Emma, who had nearly died for him hours ago. "We keep going," he said. "We're committed now." No one argued. They broke camp in silence, mounted their horses, drove the cattle north, toward the mountains, toward Miller's Pass, toward whatever end awaited them. And behind them in the hollow where they had camped, Tom Harper's body lay covered with snow. A message Vincent Blackwood would receive by noon. A declaration of war that would have consequences no one could foresee. Boy, Miller's Pass loomed ahead like a giant's gate, 2 peaks flanking a narrow trail carved from stone, 7,800 feet above sea level. The path was barely 12 feet wide in places. On one side, mountain face rose straight up. On the other, empty air and a 300-foot drop. Men died in Miller's Pass every year, sometimes in spring, usually in winter. The smart avoided it. The desperate had no choice. Cole pulled Thunder to a halt at the entrance. Behind him, the others gathered. 43 cattle milled nervously. Animals could sense danger. "Listen," Cole said. His voice carried the weight of command. "From here, we go single file. I lead. Sam behind me, then the cattle. Emma and Eleanor in the middle. Jack brings up the rear. Stay on the trail. Don't look down. If someone falls—" He stopped. Could not finish that sentence. "If someone falls," Jack completed, "we keep moving. We can't risk the whole group for one person." Amy opened her mouth to protest, caught Cole's eye, saw the pain there, understood. This was survival calculus. Cold, brutal, necessary. "No one's falling," Ethan Carter said. Young and confident, unaware how quickly mountains could kill. Cole did not contradict him. Let the boy keep his optimism. "Move slow. Stay calm. We're 3 hours from the other side, that's all. 3 hours and we're through." They started forward, single file, Cole on Thunder. The horses' hooves clicked on stone, echoing in the vast empty space. To the right, nothing but air and distance. Cole kept his eyes forward. On the trail ahead, on the next step, never looking down. Behind him, Sam followed. The boy rode well, steady, unafraid, or hiding fear so deep it did not show. Cattle came next, reluctant, balking, but driven forward by shouts and whistles. The wind picked up, howling through the pass, carrying snow from the peaks above. Visibility dropped. Everything became white and gray. Stone and sky blending until they were indistinguishable. They had been on the trail for an hour when disaster struck. A steer near the middle of the herd spooked. Maybe it saw the drop. Maybe the wind startled it. The reason did not matter. The animal bolted sideways, slammed into the steer beside it. Started a chain reaction. 3 cattle pushed toward the edge. 2 regained balance, scrambled back to center. The third kept sliding. Hooves scrabbled on ice hidden beneath snow. The animal bellowed. Terror and confusion. Then it slid over the edge. The sound of it falling, striking stone, tumbling. That sound would haunt Cole's dreams for years. Silence after. Heavy. Oppressive. "Keep moving," Cole said. His voice was harsh. "Everyone keep moving." They pressed forward. The trail narrowed further, 8 feet wide, 6. In places, barely enough for a horse and rider. Emma rode Bella behind the cattle. The mare was sure-footed, experienced. She picked her way carefully. Emma kept her eyes on Sam ahead. Used him as a guide, did not let herself think about the drop inches away. Then the ice, hidden under fresh snow, invisible until Bella stepped on it. The mare's back hoof slipped. The horse scrambled for purchase. Failed. Bella's hindquarters slid sideways, toward the edge. Emma grabbed for the saddle horn, held tight. The world tilted. She saw sky, saw stone, saw the drop yawning beside a marauder. Emma! Cole's voice, distant, desperate. Bella fought for balance. Front hooves dug into stone, but the back end kept sliding. The mare's eyes rolled white with terror. She knew she was falling, knew death waited below. Let go, Cole shouted. He was running back along the trail. Dangerous, reckless. Emma, let go of the horse. But Emma could not move. Frozen. Fear had locked her muscles. Cole reached her, grabbed her arm, pulled hard. Emma released the saddle, felt Cole's arms wrap around her, felt herself hauled away from the edge. Behind her, Bella screamed. The mare's hooves lost their grip. The horse slid backward, over the edge, into space. The sound of Bella falling. The impact far below. Then silence. Emma stood on solid ground, Cole's arms around her. She was shaking, her whole body vibrating like a plucked string. Bella, she whispered. I killed Bella. No. Cole turned her to face him. The ice killed Bella. Not you, understand? Not you. Emma nodded, could not speak, could only stand there while Cole held her, while shock worked through her system. Sam appeared at Cole's elbow. Pa, we need to keep moving. Storm's coming. Cole looked at the sky. Sam was right. Heavy clouds rolled in from the west. The temperature was dropping. If they got caught in the pass during a blizzard, none of them would survive. Can you walk? Cole asked Emma. She nodded. Then walk. We're almost through. The next 2 hours passed in nightmare. Walking single file, leading horses, driving cattle. Every step a gamble, every moment a prayer. They lost 2 more cattle. One slipped on ice. One panicked and bolted over the edge. The sounds of them falling played counterpoint to boot steps and labored breathing. But they made it through. As the trail widened and descended into the valley beyond, Cole stopped. Let the others pass. Counted heads. Sam, Emma, Eleanor, Jack, Ethan, Lucas, all alive, all whole. 40 cattle emerged, started down toward the valley floor, grazing land visible below. Helena visible in the distance, 20 miles away. They had survived Miller's Pass at a cost. 3 cattle gone, Bella dead, Emma traumatized. Cole's nerves shredded, but they had survived. Cole stood at the edge of the pass, looked back at the trail they had crossed, at the white mountain face, at the spaces where good animals had fallen. Emma came to stand beside him. We made it. Yes, Bella saved my life by falling instead of me. Bella was a good horse. She deserved better. We all do. Cole put his arm around Emma's shoulders, pulled her close. But we play the hand we're dealt, and we're still in the game. They descended into the valley as snow began to fall, heavy, thick, covering their tracks, erasing evidence of their passage, as if the mountain itself wanted to forget what had happened on its slopes. While Cole and Emma fought through Miller's Pass, another drama unfolded 60 miles south. At Pine Ridge Ranch, Lily woke early. She had barely slept. Nightmares of her father dying in the snow, of Emma falling from mountains, of everything falling apart. She checked on her siblings. Tommy and Sophie slept soundly, but Ollie's bed was empty. Panic hit like cold water. Lily searched the room, under beds, behind furniture. Nothing. She ran downstairs. Ollie! Ollie! Tommy appeared, rubbing sleep from his eyes. What's wrong? Ollie's gone. Help me look. They tore through the house, every room, every closet, every space a small child might hide. No, Ollie. Sophie joined the search. Maybe he went outside. Lily's blood went cold. Outside. In December cold. Ollie wore only his nightshirt. They burst through the front door, looked across snow-covered yard. No sign of him, no tracks, nothing. The barn, Tommy said. Maybe he went to see the horses. They ran. The barn was empty, of people. 3 horses remaining. They nickered softly. No Ollie. Where would he go? Sophie's voice was high, frightened. Lily forced herself to think. Ollie was 2. He could not have gone far, and he would go somewhere familiar. Somewhere that meant something. The creek. Mama used to take him to the creek. Before she got too pregnant, before everything fell apart. She would show him how water sparkled, how fish swam. "The creek," Lily said. "He's gone to the creek." They ran, 3 children through snow, Lily in front, 12 years old and responsible for everything, for everyone. She could not lose Ollie, could not face her father with that news, could not survive that guilt. They reached the creek in minutes that felt like hours, and there he stood, at the water's edge, staring down at ice, reaching toward the frozen surface. "Fishies," Ollie said. "Want Mama's fishies." "Ollie, don't move." Lily's voice was sharp, commanding. The boy turned, smiled. "Lily, look!" He took a step onto the ice. The crack sounded like the world splitting. Lily lunged forward, grabbed Ollie just as the ice gave way. Cold water splashed up, soaked them both. But Lily had him tight, pulled him back onto solid ground. Ollie was drenched. His nightshirt clung to his small body. His lips were already turning blue. Hypothermia. Lily had seen it in injured ranch hands. Knew the signs, knew the danger. "Tommy, get blankets. Sophie, start the fire. Big fire. Hot as you can make it. Go!" The children ran. Lily carried Ollie. He was so small, so light, like a bird. Fragile, breakable. At the house, Tommy had blankets ready. Sophie had the fire roaring. Lily stripped Ollie's wet clothes, wrapped him in dry blankets, held him close to the flames. His shaking was violent, his skin ice cold. "Done." "Stay awake, Ollie," Lily commanded. "You have to stay awake." But the boy's eyes kept closing. His shaking slowed. That was bad, very bad. When hypothermia victims stopped shaking, they were close to death. Lily did not know what else to do. She held her baby brother, rocked him, prayed harder than she had ever prayed in her life. "Please, God, don't take him. Don't take anyone else from this family. We've lost enough." An hour passed, the longest hour of Lily's life. Slowly, color returned to Ollie's face. His shaking resumed, stronger. That was good. Shaking meant his body was fighting. By noon, Ollie was warm, sleepy but safe. Lily tucked him into bed, stood watching him breathe. Alive. Still alive. Downstairs, Tommy and Sophie waited. "Is he okay?" Sophie asked. "Yes, he'll be fine." "Lily," Tommy said quietly, "that was close." "I know. You saved him." Lily sat down, let herself shake now, let fear work through her system. "I almost didn't. I almost lost him. If we had been a minute later." Sophie climbed into Lily's lap, 12 and 6, child and almost mother. "But you weren't late. You saved him. Just like Pa would have." Lily held her sister. "Let tears come. Silent tears. The kind you cry when you are too exhausted for noise." She understood now. Understood what her father faced every day. The weight of responsibility. The fear of failure. The knowledge that every decision could mean life or death. And for the first time in 2 years, Lily understood why Pa had broken. Why he had drowned in whiskey and grief. Because trying to keep everyone safe, trying to prevent every tragedy, was an impossible task. Eventually, it crushed you. But you had to try anyway, because the alternative was giving up. And giving up meant losing everything. Lily looked at her sleeping siblings, at the house her father was fighting to save, at the life they were all trying to preserve. "We're going to make it," she said. Not sure if she believed it, but saying it anyway, because hope was the only weapon they had left. Cole and his crew reached Helena on December 24th, Christmas Eve. The city sprawled before them, larger than Pine Ridge by 10 times. Streets crowded with people, buildings 3 stories tall. The noise and bustle after days of mountain silence was overwhelming. They drove the 40 cattle to the stockyard. A 5-acre pen on the north side of town. A man waited there. Henry Hendricks, 50 years old, lean, honest eyes. He had a reputation for fair dealing. Cole prayed that reputation was earned. Hendricks walked among the cattle, checked teeth, felt flanks, examined hooves. Professional, thorough. Cole's heart hammered. Everything depended on this moment, this evaluation. "Lost some on the drive," Hendricks observed. 15 head, Raiders and Miller's Pass. Hendricks nodded, understood. These are good animals, healthy, well-fed considering the season. He paused, calculated. I'll give you $10 a head, 400 for the lot. Cole's stomach dropped. 400, the exact amount he owed Blackwood. Not a penny more, no surplus, no safety margin. But enough, barely enough. Emma stepped forward. She had been quiet since Miller's Pass, since watching Bella fall. Now her voice was steady, clear. Mr. Hendricks, we rode 60 miles through winter, through raiders and mountains. We lost horses and cattle. That man was shot protecting this herd. She pointed at Cole's bandaged shoulder. These animals are worth more than $10. Hendricks looked at Emma, at this woman in men's clothes, at the steel in her eyes. Ma'am, I don't bargain. I'm not bargaining. I'm stating facts. You're getting quality cattle in the dead of winter when supply is scarce. You can sell them for 15, maybe 20 each come spring. You'll make a profit of $300, $400. We're asking you to share that profit. $11 a head, $440 total. That's fair. Hendricks studied her. Then Cole, then the cattle. A long silence stretched. Hell, he finally said. Merry Christmas, $12 a head, $480 for the lot. Relief flooded through Cole like warm whiskey. $480, enough to pay Blackwood, enough for a small cushion, enough to survive. Deal, Cole said. His voice was rough with emotion. They shook hands. Hendricks promised papers within the hour. Certified banknotes, good at any bank in the territory. While they waited, Cole's crew dispersed into Helena. Jack went to find a saloon. The Carter brothers followed. Eleanor went to church, to pray, to give thanks for survival. Sam stayed with Cole. Father and son stood together at the stockyard fence, watching their cattle mill about, watching their future take shape in ink and paper. We did it, Pa, Sam said, wonder in his voice. We really did it. Not yet, not until we pay Blackwood, not until that debt is cleared. But we will. We're going to win. Cole looked at his son, 10 years old, still so young, but growing up fast, too fast. Sam, Cole said, I need to tell you something about your mother. The boy went still. When your mama died, I broke. I let whiskey take me, let grief drown me. I abandoned all of you, not physically, but in every way that mattered. I'm sorry for that. Sorrier than you'll ever know. Pa, you don't have to. Yes, I do, because you need to understand. Loving someone means risking loss. Your mama loved me. I loved her. And when she died, that love became pain. For a long time, I thought the pain meant I should have never loved at all. That love was a mistake. But it wasn't. No, because love also gave me you. And Lily and Tommy and Sophie and Ollie, it gave me 5 reasons to keep fighting even when I wanted to give up. And now, he looked toward where Emma stood talking with Eleanor. Now it's giving me a second chance, if I'm brave enough to take it. Sam followed his father's gaze. You love Miss Emma. It was not a question. I think I do. Does that bother you? Sam thought about it. No, Mama would want you to be happy, and Miss Emma makes you better, stronger. That's what Mama would want. Cole pulled his son into a hug, fierce, quick, the kind of embrace men give when emotion threatens to overwhelm. Hendricks returned with the papers. Cole read them twice. $480 in certified banknotes, legal, binding. He folded the envelope carefully, tucked it into his inner coat pocket, next to Sophie's doll, next to his heart. We should stay the night, Emma suggested. Rest, start back tomorrow. No, Cole said, we ride now. Every hour we delay is another hour Blackwood has to cause trouble. We push through, get home, end this. No one argued. They were all exhausted, all ready for this ordeal to finish. They mounted their remaining horses. Eleanor's wagon was lighter now, less supplies, fewer people to feed. They turned south, toward Pine Ridge, toward home, toward the final confrontation. As they rode out of Helena, snow began to fall. Heavy, thick. Cole pulled his coat tighter, felt the envelope crinkle against his chest. $480. Enough to save them. Enough to start again. Emma rode beside him on one of the Carter brothers' horses. Ethan had doubled up with Lucas, given Emma his mount. She was not a strong rider, but she was learning, growing more confident with each mile. "Cole," she said, "when we get back, when this is over, what happens then?" "We pay Blackwood, clear the debt, save the ranch." "And after that?" He looked at her, at this woman who had walked into his life on a lie and stayed because of truth, at the person who had become essential when he was not paying attention. "After that," Cole said carefully, "I'm going to ask you a question. The question I wanted to ask before but couldn't, because I had nothing to offer. But if we survive this, if we win, then I'll ask. And I hope you'll say yes." Emma smiled, small, private, just for him. "Then you better hurry home, Cole Anderson, because I have an answer waiting." They rode through falling snow, toward whatever ending fate had written for them, and for the first time in 2 years, Cole let himself believe in happy endings again. The winter was not over. The hardest part still waited. But they were alive. They were together. And they were going home. The journey home took 2 days, faster without cattle to slow them. The horses knew they were heading toward warmth and rest. They pushed through snow without complaint, through cold that bit exposed skin, through exhaustion that made every mile feel like 10. Cole rode in silence, the envelope pressed against his chest. $480, paper thin but heavy as iron, the weight of salvation, the burden of hope. On the afternoon of December 27th, Pine Ridge Ranch appeared over a rise. Small, weather-beaten, but standing, still standing. Smoke rose from the chimney, a sign of life, of children waiting. They crested the hill. 5 shapes burst from the house, 3 small, 1 medium, 1 tiny, running through snow. Lily with her braid flying, Tommy and Sophie racing, Ollie toddling on short legs, all of them coming fast. Cole dismounted, caught Ollie first. The boy slammed into him like a cannonball. "Papa! Papa, home!" Sophie was next, arms around his waist, face buried in his coat, crying, relieved. Tommy grabbed his hand, squeezed hard, trying to be tough, failing. Lily stood back, 12 years old, trying to maintain dignity, but her eyes were red, her hands shook. Cole pulled her in, all 5 children. A knot of arms and tears and laughter. "You came back," Lily whispered. "You really came back." "I promised." Emma dismounted. Sophie ran to her. "Mama Emma." The name came natural now. No hesitation. Emma lifted the girl, held her close. Ollie reached for Emma with both hands. "Mama! Mama, see! Ollie was brave!" Emma looked at Lily over the children's heads. A question in her eyes. Lily's face colored. "There was an incident with the creek. Ollie's fine now. Everyone's fine." Cole's stomach clenched. "What incident?" "Later, Pa. Not in front of the little ones." That night, after the younger children were asleep, Lily told the story. Ollie wandering, the creek, the ice breaking, the desperate rescue. She told it matter of fact, no drama, just events described in order. But Cole saw the truth beneath, saw the fear still living in his daughter's eyes, the weight she had carried, the responsibility that should never have fallen on a 12-year-old. "You saved him," Cole said when she finished. "I almost didn't." "But you did, Lily. You did what needed doing. You kept your head. You acted fast. That takes courage." "I was terrified." Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means acting despite the fear. He took her hands. "Your mama would be so proud. I'm proud." Lily's composure cracked. She cried, deep sobs that shook her thin frame. Cole held her, let her release 2 years of pressure, 2 years of being strong when she should have been allowed to be young. When the tears finally stopped, Lily pulled back. "Pa, are we going to be okay?" "Yes, tomorrow we go to town. We end this." But morning came gray and cold. December 28th, the day of reckoning. Cole dressed carefully. His one good shirt, dark pants, his father's vest. He shaved for the first time in weeks. Looked at himself in the mirror. Still gaunt, still marked by grief. But something had changed. His eyes held purpose again. Determination, life. Downstairs, Emma waited. She wore a dress borrowed from Lily. Dark blue, simple. Her hair was pinned up. She looked proper, respectable, strong. "Ready?" she asked. "No, but we're going anyway." Sam appeared in his best clothes. "I'm coming too." Cole wanted to say no, to protect his son from what might happen, but Sam had earned the right to be there, had fought for this family, had grown from boy to young man over the past week. "All right," Cole agreed, "but you stay close to me, whatever happens." They rode to Pine Ridge, three of them. Cole on Thunder, Emma on a borrowed horse, Sam on his Pinto. As they entered town, people emerged from buildings, from shops and houses. Word had spread. Everyone knew what was about to happen. Jack Sullivan fell in beside them. Then Eleanor Chen. The Carter brothers joined from the saloon. Others came too. Tom Brennan, the widow Martinez, Reverend Hayes from the church. They formed a procession, a small army marching down Main Street, toward the bank, toward Vincent Blackwood, toward the final confrontation. First Bank of Pine Ridge stood on the corner, brick and glass, 2 stories tall, the finest building in town, built with money extracted from desperate people, mortgages and loans and interest rates that choked. Cole dismounted, handed Thunder's reins to Sam. "Wait here." "Pa." "Wait here, son." Cole walked toward the bank, Emma beside him, Jack and Eleanor behind. The townspeople formed a circle. Witnesses. No one spoke. This was theater. Public drama. Everyone understood their role. Cole pushed through the doors. The interior was polished wood and brass fixtures, clean, organized, a temple to money and power. Vincent Blackwood sat behind his desk, 45 years old, silver hair perfect, suit immaculate. He looked up as they entered. His expression did not change, but something flickered in his blue eyes. Surprise, then calculation. "Cole," Blackwood said, his voice was smooth. "I heard about your adventure. Quite impressive. Through Miller's Pass in winter. Most would say that's suicide. Most would be wrong." Cole approached the desk, set his hat on the chair. "I'm here to pay my debt." "Are you?" Blackwood leaned back, fingers steepled. "The mortgage." "Yes, $412, plus interest, of course." Cole pulled the envelope from his coat, set it on the desk. 480, certified banknotes from Hendricks and Helena. Blackwood did not reach for it. "Ah, yes, about that figure." Ice formed in Cole's gut. "What about it?" "I'm afraid there have been adjustments to the amount owed." Blackwood opened his ledger, ran his finger down the page. "Late fees. You see, the payment was due on the 1st. Today is the 28th. That's 27 days late. I was on a cattle drive. Not relevant to the contract. Late is late. Late fee is $50. Blackwood made a notation. "Then there's the interest accrued. $28 at the current rate. An administrative case, the paperwork involved in accelerating the loan. That's $60. Cole's hands clenched into fists. "You're inventing charges." "I'm following the contract. Section 14, paragraph 3. The lender may assess reasonable fees at his discretion." Blackwood looked up, cold eyes, satisfied. "The new total is $550. The bank went silent. Cole felt the floor dropping away. $550. He had $480, $70 short. "That's theft," Emma said. Her voice cut through like a blade. "That's business, Miss Harper." Blackwood's smile was thin, cruel. "Perhaps you should have read the contract more carefully." Cole wanted to hit him, wanted to drag Blackwood down over the desk and beat him until that smug expression broke. But violence would solve nothing, would only give Blackwood excuse to call the sheriff, to have Cole arrested, to take the ranch while Cole sat in a cell. "I don't have $550, Cole said. Each word cost him. "I have $480. "Then I'm afraid the debt remains unpaid. The ranch will be forfeit on the 1st. 3 days from now. I'll be generous and give you until then to vacate." Blackwood closed the ledger. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other business." Emma stepped forward. Her face was pale, but her voice was steady. Wait. She reached into her coat pocket, pulled out a small leather pouch. The coins inside clinked. She upended it on Blackwood's desk. Quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, they poured out in a stream of silver and copper. $63.50, Emma said. Her voice shook. That's everything I saved. Since I was 15 years old, every penny, 13 years of saving. It's yours. Cole stared at her. Emma, no. Yes. She looked at him, tears in her gray eyes, but her jaw was set. 480 plus 63.50. That's 543.50. Only 650 short now. From behind them, Sam's voice rang out. I have $8.75. The boy pushed through the crowd, set his small bag on the desk. From carving animals to sell. Lily appeared. How she had gotten to town, Cole did not know, but there she stood. $8 from sewing. Tommy ran in. $2.40. I don't remember where from, but it's mine. Sophie held up her rag doll. Rosie, the doll Rebecca had made. How much for this? Emma's face crumpled. She knelt, took the doll gently. No, sweetheart, we're not selling Rosie. But Mama made it. It must be worth something. It's worth everything, but we're keeping it. Jack Sullivan stepped forward, pulled bills from his pocket. $20. Take it, Cole. Eleanor Chen added 15. Henry would want this. Ethan and Lucas Carter pooled their money. $30. Then others came. People Cole barely knew. The blacksmith contributed $7. Miss Pierce from the boarding house added 5. The general store owner gave 10. The saloon keeper gave 12. They piled money on Blackwood's desk. Bills and coins, silver and paper. The accumulated wealth of a poor town, given freely, given because they had all suffered under Blackwood's grip, because they saw a chance to strike back. Reverend Hayes was last. He set down $50. From the church fund, the board voted this morning, unanimously. Cole stared at the pile of money, could not speak, could not process what he was seeing. His throat was closed, his eyes burned. Emma counted. Her scarred hands moved quickly. Stacking, sorting. $680.30. She looked at Blackwood. Count it, every penny, and then write a receipt that says the debt is paid in full. The bank was silent. 20 people watched, waited. This was more than one man's debt. This was a town refusing to be victims anymore. This was community rising up. Blackwood's face had gone white, then red. His hands trembled as he reached for the money. He counted, slowly, carefully, looking for error, finding none. $680.30, he confirmed. Write the receipt, Emma said. Blackwood took paper. His hand shook as he wrote. Received in full, $550. Anderson Ranch mortgage paid, debt satisfied. He dated it, signed it, slid it across the desk. Cole took the paper, read it twice, folded it carefully, put it in his pocket next to his heart. He leaned over the desk, spoke quietly, for Blackwood's ears only. Vincent, Rebecca didn't choose wrong. She chose love over money, and she was right. You've spent 5 years trying to prove otherwise. You've failed. Blackwood's jaw clenched. Get out of my bank. Gladly. Cole straightened, turned to face the crowd. Thank you, all of you. I don't know how to repay this. You already have, Reverend Hayes said. You showed us that fighting back is possible. That's worth more than money. They walked out of the bank into winter sunlight. The crowd followed, and as they emerged, someone started clapping. Tom Brennan. Then another joined, then another. Soon the whole street was applauding, cheering, celebrating a victory that was more than financial. Cole stood there, overwhelmed, his children clustered around him, Emma beside him, the town that had saved them surrounding them. Pa, Sam said, we did it. We really did it. We did. Then Cole turned to Emma, right there in the middle of Main Street, in front of Walt and everyone. He took her hands in his. Emma Grace Harper, he said, his voice carried over the crowd. I know I said I'd wait until we were home. I know I said I'd wait until this was over, But I can't wait another minute. The street went quiet. Emma's eyes widened. You came here on a lie, Cole continued. 5 children forged letters and brought you to a broken man with nothing to offer. But you stayed. You fought. You saved us in every way a person can be saved. And his voice caught. I don't deserve you, but I'm asking anyway. Will you marry me? Will you be a mother to my children? Will you be my partner, my wife? Will you let me spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of what you've given us? Tears ran down Emma's face. She did not brush them away, just stood there, looking at this man who had finally learned to hope again. Yes, she said, clear, strong, certain. Yes, Cole Anderson. 1,000 times yes. Cole kissed her, right there in the street, in front of the whole town. A kiss that was promise and prayer and possibility. The crowd erupted, cheering, whistling. Mrs. Pierce was crying, Reverend Hayes was beaming. The children mobbed them. Even Ollie understood something important had happened, something good. From inside the bank, Vincent Blackwood watched. He saw the celebration, saw Cole and Emma embracing, saw what he had never been able to create: community, love, belonging. He sat at his desk for a long time after everyone left, looking at the empty surface, at the ledger that showed Anderson's debt paid, at the $680 that had poured from a poor town's pockets. He had lost, not just money, not just a business transaction. He had lost the battle he had been fighting for 5 years. The battle to prove Rebecca had been wrong to choose Cole, to prove that money and security mattered more than love. But the town's response today proved the opposite. Love built community, built loyalty, built something money could never buy. Vincent Blackwood was a rich man who owned nothing that mattered. That night, he sat alone in his house. Large, empty, cold despite the fire. He poured whiskey but did not drink it, just stared at the amber liquid. Thinking, at midnight he stood, put on his coat, walked through snow to Pine Ridge Cemetery. Rebecca's grave was on the hill. Simple stone, fresh flowers despite the season. Someone still tended it. Probably Cole, probably Emma. Blackwood knelt in snow, looked at the name carved in granite. Rebecca, he said. His voice was quiet, broken. I spent 5 years hating you for choosing him. 5 years trying to destroy what you built. I thought I was proving you wrong, proving that love without security was foolish. He stopped, gathered courage to continue. But today I saw what you saw. Cole with that woman, the whole town rallying, people giving money they couldn't spare. Because Cole gave them something I never could. Hope, community. He didn't buy loyalty. He earned it. A wind blew through the cemetery, rattling bare branches, carrying snow. You were right, Blackwood whispered. You were always right. And I wasted 5 years being bitter when I could have been, I don't know, better, different, human. He pulled an envelope from his coat. Thick paper, official seal. Inside was a deed, 50 acres adjacent to Anderson's ranch. Land Blackwood had bought 3 years ago, planning to expand, planning to build. I can't give you back, can't undo the damage, but I can give them a future. He set the envelope at the base of the stone, weighted it with a rock so wind would not carry it away. For your children, for the life you wanted them to have. Blackwood stood, looked at the grave one last time. Goodbye, Rebecca. I hope wherever you are happy. You deserved happiness. You found it with Cole. I'm sorry it took me so long to understand. He walked away, down the hill, through the cemetery gates. Behind him the envelope waited, a final gift, a form of apology. Vincent Blackwood left Pine Ridge the next morning, sold the bank, sold his holdings, moved to Denver. Some said he donated money to hospitals, to orphanages, trying to balance scales that could never be balanced. Years later, when he died, his will directed his estate to build a children's hospital. Rebecca Anderson Memorial Hospital, a monument to the woman who had taught him, too late, that love mattered more than victory. 3 weeks later, on January 18th, Cole and Emma married. The wedding was small, 30 people in Pine Ridge Church. The building was decorated with pine boughs and winter berries. Rebecca's grave was visible through the window, a silent witness, a blessing. Cole stood at the altar, 36 years old, gray starting at his temples. But his eyes were alive, really alive, for the first time in 2 years. Beside him stood Sam, 10 years old, best man. He held the rings with steady hands, no longer a boy, not quite a man, but becoming. Emma walked down the aisle. She wore a simple dress, white but not elaborate. Lily and Eleanor had sewn it together. It was beautiful in its simplicity. Rebecca's wedding veil covered her face. Lily had insisted, Mama would want this. Emma had cried when Lily placed it on her head, understanding the gift, the acceptance, the blessing from a daughter who could have resented but instead chose love. Sophie scattered winter berries. Tommy stood straight, trying not to fidget. Ollie was in Lily's arms. The boy did not understand weddings, but he smiled, felt the happiness around him. Reverend Hayes performed the ceremony. His voice was warm, familiar. Cole Anderson, he said, do you take Emma Harper to be your wife, to love and cherish through all the days of your life? Cole looked at Emma, at this woman who had saved him, who had walked into chaos and refused to leave, who had fought for a family that was not hers by blood, but had become hers by choice. I do, he said. His voice was steady. Sure. Before God and this community, I swear to love Emma, to cherish her, to be worthy of the faith she placed in a broken man. She saved me when I was drowning. She gave me courage when I had none. I will spend every remaining day earning the gift she gave us. Emma's turn. She looked at Cole, at the man who had learned to hope again, who had fought through his pain to become the father his children needed, who had opened his broken heart to love a second time. I do, she said, tears in her eyes but joy in her voice. Cole Anderson, you gave me what I searched for all my life. A family, not blood, better than blood, chosen. I choose you. I choose your children. I choose this ranch and this life and everything that comes with it. Every struggle, every joy. I'm yours. If you'll have me. I will. Reverend Hayes smiled. Then by the power vested in me, I pronounce you husband and wife. Cole, you may kiss your bride. Cole lifted the veil. Emma's face was radiant. He kissed her, gentle, reverent, a promise sealed. The church erupted in applause. The children rushed forward. Even Sam allowed himself to hug his father, his new mother. The family was complete again. Not the same as before, but whole in a new way. The reception was held in the Anderson barn, tables set up, food brought by every family in attendance. Music played. Reverend Hayes produced a fiddle. Others joined with guitars and harmonicas. Simple songs, joyful songs. Cole danced with Emma, slowly, carefully. Neither was skilled, but they moved together, learning each other's rhythm. Then Cole danced with Lily, father and daughter, 12 years old, and she had carried the weight of a woman. Now she could be young again. Is Mama angry? Lily asked quietly. That you married someone else? Cole looked down at his daughter, at the worry in her eyes. No, sweetheart. Your mama loved you all too much to want you to suffer. She would be happy. Happy we found someone to help carry the load. Happy we're healing. I miss her. So do I. Every day. But Emma isn't replacing her. Emma is new, different, and that's okay. We can love both. Love doesn't diminish when you share it. It multiplies. Lily rested her head against his chest. They swayed to the music. Around them, the community danced, celebrated. For one evening, life was good. Struggle was forgotten. Joy was allowed. Later, Emma danced with Sam. The boy was awkward, self-conscious, but he tried. Thank you, Emma said, for accepting me, for letting me be part of this family. You saved Pa, Sam said simply. Saved all of us. We should be thanking you. We saved each other. That's what families do. Sam smiled, small but real. Mama, Emma, I don't know what to call you. Whatever feels right. I won't replace your mother, but I can be someone new, someone who loves you just as much. Then Mama Emma, if that's okay. Emma's eyes filled. That's perfect. The party continued until late. Children fell asleep on benches. Adults laughed over coffee. The barn was warm despite January cold, filled with life, with hope. When everyone finally left, Cole and Emma stood alone. The children were at the Reverend's house for the night, giving the newlyweds privacy, a wedding night. They walked to the house together, held hands like nervous teenagers. Inside, a fire burned. Someone had prepared the bedroom. Fresh sheets, candles lit. Cole stopped in the doorway. Emma, I need to say something. All right, this room, this bed. Rebecca died here. If you need us to use a different room, I understand. Emma touched his face. Cole, she died here, but she also lived here. She loved you here, created your children here. Those are beautiful things. I'm not afraid of ghosts, especially not the ghost of a woman who loved you enough to fight for this family even from beyond death. They entered together, closed the door. What happened between husband and wife was private, sacred, but they found each other in that room, found comfort, found passion, found the beginning of something new, built on the foundation of something lost. 6 months passed. Summer came to Montana. The ranch flourished. Cole worked from dawn to dusk, but sober now, focused. He rebuilt fences, expanded the herd, used the surplus from the cattle sale to buy equipment. To improve, Sam worked beside him, learning, growing. The boy was 11 now, tall for his age, strong. He could repair a fence as well as any man, could shoe a horse, could read weather in clouds. The girls thrived. Lily began to smile again. Sophie played without fear. Even Ollie grew confident, bold, a normal toddler instead of a ghost child. And Emma bloomed. She had gained weight, filled out, her face had color, she sang while cooking, taught Lily to read better, helped Sophie with her letters. She fit into this family like she had always been there. In July, Emma felt the first flutter, low in her belly, like butterfly wings. She knew immediately what it was, had suspected for weeks. The missed courses, the morning nausea, the way her breasts had become tender. She waited until evening, until the children were asleep, until she and Cole sat together on the porch, stars wheeling overhead, the ranch quiet around them. Cole, she said, her voice was soft, I need to tell you something. He looked at her, saw the expression on her face, something between fear and joy. What is it? I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air. Cole went very still. Emma watched emotions chase across his face. Shock, fear, then something else. Something like wonder. You're sure? Yes, about 6 weeks, maybe 8. Cole's hands started to shake. He gripped the porch rail. Rebecca, when she was pregnant with Ollie, that's when... I'm not Rebecca. Emma took his hands, made him look at her. I'm healthy, strong, and Dr. Brennan is the best in the territory. We'll be careful. We'll do everything right. What if I lose you? You won't. You can't promise that. No, Emma admitted. I can't. But Cole, living in fear of loss means not living at all. We could die tomorrow. A horse could throw us. Disease could strike. But we don't stop living because death is possible. We live harder, love fiercer, because time is uncertain. Cole pulled her close, held her like she might dissolve. I can't go through that again. I can't watch someone I love die. Then we'll both fight to make sure it doesn't happen. Together. They sat together until late, making plans, discussing preparations. Eventually, fear gave way to excitement, to hope. They were bringing new life into the world, a child who would be born into love, into safety, into a family that had survived everything and emerged stronger. Rebecca Emma Anderson was born on February 14, 1887. Valentine's Day, after 12 hours of labor, she entered the world screaming, healthy, strong, 7 pounds of fury and life. Emma survived, tired but whole. Dr. Brennan had been there throughout, competent, careful. He knew Cole's history, knew the fears. He had taken every precaution. When it was over, when mother and baby were cleaned and settled, Cole held his daughter for the first time. She was tiny, red-faced, perfect. She has your eyes, Emma said. Rebecca's eyes, blue. Cole looked at this small person. This new life, his fifth biological child, Emma's first, their child, a bridge between past and future. Rebecca Emma, he said, after both her mothers, the one who gave me life, the one who gave us hope. The older children crowded in. They had waited downstairs, nervous, excited. Now they pushed into the room, eager to meet their sister. Lily held her first, careful, reverent. 12 years old and already practicing for her own future. She's beautiful. Sam touched the baby's hand, her fingers wrapped around his. She's strong. Tommy and Sophie cooed, made silly faces, trying to get the baby to look at them. Ollie climbed onto the bed, pressed his nose close to his sister's face. Baby, my baby. Our baby, Cole corrected. All of ours. Emma watched her family. 6 children now. 7 people. More than she had ever dreamed possible. More than those forged letters had promised. Cole, she said, we need a 7th chair. He laughed, actually laughed, drawing relief and exhaustion mixing into sound. Sam and I will build it tomorrow. But they did not build it tomorrow or the day after, because life on a ranch does not stop for births. There were chores, animals, work that could not wait. It took a week before Cole and Sam had time. They worked in the barn, measuring, cutting, sanding, building a small chair for a small person. As they worked, Sam asked the question that had been building. Pa, will there be more? More babies? Cole thought about it. I don't know. Emma's 30. That's young enough for more children. If God wills it, if Emma wants it. Would you mind? No, I like having siblings, even when they're annoying. That's the truth. They worked in companionable silence, father and son, building furniture, building family, building future. Pa, Sam said eventually, I'm glad Miss Emma came. Glad you married her. Things are better now. They are. Do you think Mama, the first Mama, do you think she's watching? Do you think she's happy? Cole set down his tools, looked at his son. Yes, I think your Mama is watching. And I think she's proud. Proud of how strong you've all been. Proud that we found a way to keep going. Proud that we let love in again. I used to think loving Mama Emma meant forgetting first Mama. And now? Now I know that's not true. Love doesn't work that way. You can love both, remember both, honor both. Cole pulled Sam into a hug, quick, rough, male affection. When did you get so wise? I learned from you. They finished the chair that afternoon, small, sturdy, beautiful in its simplicity. They carried it to the house, set it at the table. 7 chairs now, 7 places. The family gathered for dinner. Cole at the head, Emma to his right with baby Rebecca in her arms, Lily, Sam, Tommy, Sophie, Ollie filling the other chairs. The 7th chair waited, empty now, but not for long. Emma looked around the table. At this family she had joined, this life she had chosen. She thought about those 47 letters, the lies that had brought her here, the truth she had found. What are you thinking? Cole asked. I'm thinking about chairs, Emma said. 6 became 7. Maybe 7 will become 8 someday. Maybe more. You want more children? I want whatever life brings, as long as we face it together. Cole raised his coffee cup. To family, to the ones we've lost, the ones we've found, the ones yet to come. Everyone raised their cups, even Ollie with his milk. They drank. A toast to survival, to hope, to the future they had fought so hard to secure. Outside, snow began to fall. First snow of a new winter. But inside, the house was warm. The fire burned bright. 7 people, 1 family, together. In the cemetery on the hill, snow covered Rebecca's grave, covered the envelope Vincent Blackwood had left. By spring, Cole would find it, would discover the gift. 50 acres, a future expansion. But tonight, he knew nothing of that. Tonight, he simply sat with his family, held his wife's hand, watched his children eat, felt peace for the first time in 3 years. The winter that had nearly destroyed them had made them stronger. The lie that brought Emma had become the truest thing in their lives. The children who had forged letters had saved them all. And somewhere in whatever place souls went, Rebecca Anderson watched, smiled, approved. Her family was whole again, different but whole, and that was everything she had wanted. The rancher's winter was over, spring was coming, and with it, hope bloomed like wildflowers after snow. Basta 40 years later, in 1925, an old man sat by a fire. His great-grandson listened to the story, absorbed every word, understood the lessons hidden in the tale. "That's why the ranch is yours someday, Thomas," Cole said. His voice was rough with age. "Not because of blood, not because you're entitled, but because family is built, chosen, fought for." Those 47 letters taught us that. Love finds a way, even through lies, even through loss. Love finds a way. The boy nodded, solemn, understanding. Outside, 1925 snow fell. Inside, an old man passed wisdom to youth. The cycle continued, stories told, lessons learned, legacy preserved. And in the morning, Thomas Jr. would go outside, would look at the land his family had saved, would understand what it cost, what it meant, what it demanded. He would become the steward, the next guardian, another link in the chain of people who refused to give up, who fought when fighting seemed impossible, who chose love over fear. The winter would always return, but so would spring, always spring, and with it, the promise that even the deepest cold could not kill what had been planted in love. The rancher's winter ended, but the rancher's story continued, generation after generation. A family built on lies that became truth, on strangers who became home, on love that conquered even death. And that, Thomas learned, was the only lesson worth teaching, the only story worth telling, the only legacy that truly mattered. The fire burned low, the old man's eyes closed. The boy sat watching, listening, learning, becoming. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new winters, new struggles, but tonight, the past,